Good evening, everybody. The time is 6:35. I'm gonna have this meeting, this live broadcast and open house started. Thank you all for coming this evening, uh, December 19, 2023. Today, we're gonna be discussing in this open house the DC Power Line Underground, or also known as Plug, Feeder 15166 Civil Construction Virtual Open House. Basically, we're gonna discuss those feeders and the joint initiative between PEPCO and DDOT for power line undergrounding. Um, Next slide. As part of the topics of discussion today in this open house, we're going to do some small introductions. We're going to have a small DC plug video for everybody's awareness of what's going to happen as part of the construction process. Um, then we're going to talk about the civil construction for feeder 15166, the project limits and scope of work. We're going to talk about civil construction impacts, civil construction outreach team, and frequently asked questions, and then how to contact informations and questions from the DC block as well. At this point in time, I'll ask all the attendees and panelists to, if you have any questions, please hold them for the end, or write them up in the chat, and we'll be happy to start answering once we finish the presentation. As part of the introduction, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Cesar Barrero. I'm from the District Department of Transportation. I'm the DC Plug Deputy. I'm not the DC Plug Deputy Program Manager, but I am the program support at this point in time, along with Ron Williams, who is the Program Manager. Um, Along with me is Kennedy Herx, uh, PEPCO Project Manager, and also Miriam Lavreni as well, who is a PEPCO Project Manager as well. Um, Next slide. As part of the introductions as well, I would like to introduce the DC Plug Feeder 15166 Civil Construction Team. Our civil construction management team will be Kumi Construction. Along with our team is Jonas Tisfaye. He is the project engineer, resident engineer on site. There he is on the screen right now. How you doing, Jonas? Wave if you can. Um, and along with Jonas, we will have the civil contractor who will be Capital Paving. Jonas is not the only person on site. There will be several people from the Kumi construction team and the DDOT construction management as well. More than happy to reach out to him for any questions, and our public outreach team as well. Next slide. At this time, we're going to share a video for the DC Plug and how we do our scope of work on how every process goes on. Please go ahead.
The District of Columbia has experienced more violent storms in recent years, resulting in extensive power outages. For this reason, the district and PEPCO are working to reduce power outages by moving many of the overhead power lines underground to improve the infrastructure and enhance resiliency. Neighborhoods affected by construction will be notified well in advance of the project start date. This will include the posting of no parking signs. Construction will begin with the coordination of streets and sidewalks impacted in your neighborhood. Signs will be posted, and flaggers will direct vehicles and pedestrians around construction crews. Before any digging begins, other existing utility lines that may be in the path of construction will be carefully identified and marked in the field. In some cases, small plants, trees, and grass will need to be removed from public spaces to allow for digging and placement of new underground equipment. But we will do our best to retain as much vegetation as possible. Any public property disturbed by this work will be restored to its original condition. Construction workers will use asphalt saws to cut the pavement. A backhoe will dig a trench for the placement of the distribution line. Periodically along the main primary line, manholes and tap holes will be required to house equipment and to provide access for inspections and repairs. The backhoe will also be utilized in these cases to excavate for these structures. In order to meet jurisdictional safety requirements, shoring will be provided in the trench to ensure stability. PEPCO uses either fiberglass or plastic PVC conduit to protect underground power lines. Concrete will be poured into the trench to encase and secure the conduit, and steel plates will be placed over the trench temporarily to make the road usable to vehicle traffic. After the concrete is set, the steel plates will be removed and the trench will be repaved in sections. Transformers, switches, and other ancillary equipment will be set in place. Equipment such as transformers and switches will be installed either in the roadway or the sidewalk, depending on space availability. Underground cable will be installed. Landscaping will be restored as needed and roads paved. Overhead primary electric wires will be removed from poles, but secondary service and communication lines will remain. Finally, the new underground power lines will be energized. While electricity will remain on throughout the project, there will be a short scheduled outage needed to switch from the overhead lines to the new underground system. We appreciate your patience while the district and PEPCO improve the future of electrical service for the District of Columbia residents.
All right, moving on to the next slide, we're going to talk about the civil construction project limits and scope of work. Next slide. For the feeder 15166. This project is located in the southeast quadrant of the district, similar to Ward 8 on the bottom side. On the southern side of the street, you got Malcolm X, and you have connecting with Martin Luther King on the east side. On the north side, you got Le Bon, and on the west side, you have Second Street corridor. So this surrounding neighborhood close to the Congress Heights is basically the zone that we're gonna do the power line undergrounding. Next slide. This is a sample, just in case we want to zoom in and out. We can see where we at over here. We can see a couple of proximity and a little closer to where we are. On the left side, we got the Defense Intelligence, DIA, Defense Intelligence Agency on the other side of South Capitol Street. We're close to Shepherd Parkway. You can see Martin Luther King along with the Sycamore and Oak Street Drive, which is close to the Congress Metro High Station. So that gives you a little understanding of where we are. At this point in time, if anybody has questions, you want me to zoom in, we're more than happy to do that. You can put the questions in the chat. There is a question in the chat about is the video available to share with our neighbors, and the answer is yes. This video is available on dcpluginfo.com. It's our website for the DC Plug project. Let's move on to the next slide, please. As part of the scope of work, and as our main objective is to put all the power lines underground and remove them from the poles. The first part is providing, as part of the scope of work, we take care of the electrical conduit. From the pictures, starting from the top side, you can see how we mark and saw cut the area of the trench where the electrical conduit will be placed. The trench is then excavated, which is the second picture on the top side. After excavation, we lay the conduit. Once we lay the conduit, we provide a concrete encasement. Then we backfill the trench and final restoration with a resurfacing of the street. In addition to that conduit, next slide, we do structures as well. We place some minor structures in some areas so that we can have that connectivity. Some of the structures that we place are tap holes, transformer enclosures or TEs, and manholes. In these pictures, you can see them, how they are delivered. The structures are delivered, then we're lifted and then placed into the excavated hole. We make sure that we can tie the conduit into it, and then the structure is fully cap off and backfill, which is the picture on the bottom middle side of the three pictures. Afterwards, the last picture on the bottom is the final restoration, which is the end result, where you can see just the top door for a trench or a manhole in that area. On the next slide, we can see the process of restoration for manholes, which are located on the street end of the portion, or we can see the trenches as well, and the transformer enclosures, how they look on the sidewalk end. Next slide. At this point in time, I'm going to turn it over to Raisha.
Hey, good evening. Oh, let me put my camera on. Good evening, everyone. My name is Raisha Quarry. I'm with the communications team for DC Plug. We're going to get started with some construction impacts. So, of course, our main goal is to make sure that everyone has accessibility, that's residents and businesses. Our permitted construction hours will be Monday through Friday, usually from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. For our major roadways like Malcolm X Avenue and MLK Avenue, we will only be working during restricted hours of 9:30 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. Night and weekend work may occur if we are permitted by DDOT and upon their approval. Parking impacts. So you guys will see those emergency no parking signs within 72 hours of construction. Just, once you see them up, just know that construction's coming soon. And you can look at the bottom of the emergency no parking signs to make sure that it is the DC Plug project. We know that there are other projects in the area and we are coordinating with them, but we just want you to make sure that you're sure which project you're looking at. Additional impacts include safety accommodations. Of course, safety is a priority for us. So pedestrian and bicyclists will have access and be safe during this construction. We also will have flaggers present to facilitate any traffic. We may have some bus stops that will be relocated. We are coordinating with WMATA, and those updates will be given out via WMATA. There will be no scheduled power outages during the civil construction. It's really important that you hear that. There's no scheduled power outages during this phase. Next slide, please. Okay, and then for all the impacts that we have, of course, we have a public outreach team. In order to learn more about this project, we would like for you to go over to our website. We have a website at www.dcpluginfo.com, and we regularly post the schedules and the traffic advisories on our website. And if you want to get updates regularly, we would ask you to head over to our website, go under feeder 15166, and you can tap on the join the listserv button. That will send us an email and let us know that you would like to be joined our email list. Next slide, please. We also have a dedicated outreach team. So Anne and Diane, I believe, are on this call. You can wave if you're on here. This is a team of people that you will see in the community. You may see their cards. They're the ones responsible for giving out those door hangers, the resident letters. They're always working hard to make sure that you're getting a lot of communication. We have a DC Plug community contact hotline. It's a 24-hour hotline. You can call us if you have any questions or concerns regarding DC Plug, and we'll do our best to respond to you as soon as possible, as well as questions@dcpluginfo.com is our email. Next slide, please. Sorry, got email. All right. So for DC Plugs, for feeder 15166 civil construction, here are some questions that we think that you'll have to ask. So construction is supposed to start February 2024. However, you may see our team in the field as early as next month. They'll be doing things like test pitting, walkthroughs, and maybe pavement markings on the sidewalks. We are not supposed to start construction until February 2024. That means shovels will not be on the ground till February. Construction is estimated to last about 18 months, weather permitting, and the electrical phase is planned to start directly after the construction phase, and we will let you guys know that via your ANC and on our website. Next slide. All right, and if you guys have any questions or concerns after this meeting, you can head over again to questions@dcpluginfo.com. Go ahead to our website, that's www.dcpluginfo.com, or call us on our hotline at 1-844-758-4146. And we'll take questions from the community. Also, sorry, at the end of this meeting, please hang on. We have a small survey, a Title VI survey that we would like for you to fill out. And right at the close of the meeting, it'll pop up automatically. All right. Feel free to write your questions in the chat or raise your hand using the hand raise icon. It looks like Brenda has her hand up. See if I can unmute her. Danica, can you unmute Brenda? You're unmuted.
Can you hear me?
We sure can.
Okay, thank you. So I guess I'm just wondering if you guys are going to be making presentations at like the Anacostia Coordinating Council, the Ward 8 clergy, so more people in the community will be aware of what's going on. Are you open to doing that? Because turning this around by February doesn't give much time to share this information. And is the presentation available by tomorrow? I always have a hard time getting presentations from DDOT. Thank you.
Okay, I guess I'll take that question.
You want to take that question? I am more than happy to send you the presentation after the end of this meeting. These videos are also available on DDOT, the DDOT communications on YouTube. Once we finish, they always get posted. That's for the awareness of for your response on the raise hand. Um, so this is being recorded, so it's going to go on YouTube on the DDoS communication side. I think that we're more than happy to connect as public outreach team with the neighborhood impacted. So we don't have a problem on going door to door. We also do the 30 days notice. We do hangers. You see the parking signs on 72 hours. These type of projects are more in and out. So you're probably going to see a trench, and we're probably going to be out and about, and then all of a sudden we're not there anymore. We move on to the next phase because they're quick type of work. Raisha, you want to continue on this answer?
Yeah, sure. So like Caesar said, we'll do a 30-day, 15-day, 7-day notice. Of course, we'll be willing to come out to the community and do any type of meetings that you guys would like. We're really open to any type of engagement and outreach, and you can have, whatever you guys are requesting, absolutely. But like you said, we won't be in the same spot the whole entire time. We move along different areas, like the map showed.
And one more time, Miss, I know your first name, Brenda. I couldn't see your last name, and I apologize. More than happy. If you send an email to questions@dcpluginfo.com, they will more gladly send that presentation to you.
Yep, everybody at the end of the email, that's attending the meeting can have a copy of the presentation. I'll make sure to send it out.
Just in addition, this is Sarah. The presentation will be posted to the DC Plug website as well. So that's always a good place to look to be able to find any collateral that's presented at any of our public meetings. And I see that you put in your email address, Brenda, so we'll make sure that you're on the distribution list for feeder 15166.
All right, look in the chat. And if there were previous messages in the chat before I joined, I might not see it. Okay, so I also see the question, how long will the project last? I think that was earlier. The project will last for 18 months for civil construction. That's estimated 18 months, weather permitting, you know how that goes. There's another question, what kind and how many jobs are being created by this project? And will DC residents be provided these opportunities? That's from Brian. Anybody want to take that one?
Trying to multitask here. I apologize. I'm going to read the question again. I'm going to try to give it I'm gonna try to give it a go. When it comes to jobs created by this opportunity, everything goes out for bid. There is the electrical section of the work that is run by PEPCO. They do their own hiring for those electrical parts. When it comes to the construction matter, DDOT goes through the Office and Contracting and Procurement process, where contractors are capable of doing the work, and they're a part of the DSLBD entities or small businesses. They are able to bid on the contracts and basically get an opportunity. So that part of the jobs, it goes to the contractor. So that will be the person to look into if they're looking for opportunities. But at a minimum, 51% are DC residents. So I hope I answer your question. But at the same time, remember there's two portions of it: the civil construction, which is done through the Office of Contracting and Procurement, and then the electrical portion, which is done through PEPCO.
All right, thanks for that, Caesar. All right, Brenda, we have your email, and we'll add you to our email list like we told you, so no problem with that. And Ms. Richardson also asks, what is the noise factor? All right, so like,
That's a really fair question. We are within the contract documents. It states that the noise factor needs to stay within regulations. There is going to be some noise when it comes to the saw cutting. There is some noise because of the excavator doing the trench, and of course we're lifting some trench holes and dropping them down. That creates a couple of noise with some of the machinery, but in comparison to other projects such as bridge projects and major construction restoration, noise should be at a level that is accepted. We do have some standards and guidelines to follow. If the contractor is not following, they are in non-conformance, and we do put a stop work order when those um, levels of noises hit a factor that create too much vibration or noise that affects the community or neighborhood.
all right, great, thanks for that. And then there's another question that says, when will the rest of the Ward 8 be plugged in?
That's
We can
that
step
is
back
in a
to
case by
the,
case.
Caesar, we can step back to this map and
Yes,
just show that we have
thank
additional
you.
feeders coming down the pike. These get approved through Public Service Commission,
Yes.
through biennial plans.
Yeah, so that's the section that got approved for the Public Space Commission. They divide the work into 6 of the wards, which is 3. Please, somebody correct me if I'm incorrect on my team. 3, 4, 5, 7, 8.
Right.
Okay, there you go. I know I always say 6, it's not 6. So 3, 4, 5, 7, and 8. As you that's the map is interactive. This is also could be able to find on the DC Plug info website. Some of the feeders are already in play. Completed construction. Feeder 368 is completed. We're in the closeout process, and that one is being electrified as we speak. Some of the feeders that are in Ward 8, more specifically, if we can zoom in to the section of Ward 8 and 7, we can see feeder 346, 14702, and 118, and also 15174 and 15171, and of course 14758, which is currently in construction. So this is the second feeder within Ward 8 out of the 4 feeders, I believe, that is currently active for 2 feeders are going to be active in construction, and the other 2 will be coming next.
And then we see another question from a person named Keith. How often does PEPCO expect to do maintenance once the transformers are installed? And we'll pass it over to Kennedy Herks to address that question.
Hi guys, I didn't get a chance to introduce myself, so I'll go ahead and do that first. My name is Kennedy Herx, and I'm the project manager on the PEPCO side of this feeder project. So we've touched on it a little bit before, but just as a reminder, DDOT handles the civil construction, and then PEPCO will come in after civil construction is completed and do the electrical construction. So electrical construction isn't scheduled to start until at this point later in 2025. However, as a project manager, I cannot exactly say what that maintenance on the transformers look like once they are installed. That would be a question that one of our engineers can take. But if you do send that question to the DC plug info question and email that question, we can get that answered for you. And one of our engineers will give you a much better answer than I can as a project manager. But again, it's nice to meet you guys and engage with you guys. And I look forward to working with you guys on this project. So thank you.
Kennedy, I'll take full responsibility on, and I apologize sincerely for not giving you
No.
the time to introduce.
It's okay. I was having audio issues, but all good. Thanks.
All right, great.
All right, I don't see additional questions, but if anybody would like to put anything into the chat, we're happy to take questions. And as noted a number of times, we do have an email and website and phone numbers that we monitor regularly.
Okay, I don't see any more. Anybody have their hand raised? Also, Danica, can you make James Giddens a panelist? I know we're about to come to the end, but just in case we get another question. Mhm. All right. Thanks you. Great meeting. Thank you for joining. All right. Does anyone else see a hand up? Am I missing anything? We're all good.
I do
I
not
don't see any additional hands up, and I don't see
I
any
see-
more chats.
I see
Okay.
Brenda's hand raised, but I don't know if it's from previously raised. Nope, never mind. Drop down.
Gotcha. Okay, well, if there's no more questions, then we can end the call. Remember, at the end of the call, there will be a quick survey, Title VI. We would appreciate it if you would fill it out at the end of the meeting. And that's just about it. Anyone else have anything to say? I'm sorry, I keep turning my camera off. Goodbye. All right, that's all.
Happy holidays.
Yes,
Yes,
happy
thank you
holidays.
for attending and happy holidays.
Thanks.